Okay, welcome everyone. Hello, my name is Candace Abraham and I am your Travel Week host today for Travel Week's webinar. I am so excited about our program today. We have a destination that is very near and dear to my heart. This is Hawaii. It's a place I've visited and written about many times as a travel writer. And I got to tell you, it's one place that I've been there over 9 times, and every time I go, I love it more than the last time. So I'm really excited to be presenting this to our travel agent community today. As you know, here at Travel Week, we are dedicated to sharing information with travel agents that they need to sell the best holidays and travel product to their clients. Before we get started, I just have a little bit of housekeeping. If you have any questions, write them in the Q&A box that you'll see at the bottom, and I will answer those questions for you at the end. If you have anything you'd like to chat to other travel agents in our community about during this webinar, you can also use the chat at the side to do that. And last but certainly not least, we have a great prize featured for our travel agent community. For those of you who stay on until the very end of today's webinar, you will be eligible for a $250 gift card of any place of your choice that is at giftcards.com. And so for those of you who stay till the end, we will be picking a lovely winner and contacting you after the webinar today. And so without further ado, I would like to introduce you to today's hosts. We have Lorenzo Campo, who is the Canadian Director of Hawaii Tourism Canada. And we also have Hiilani Shibata, who is here from the Native Hawaiian Hospitality Association, here to share some amazing information about COOP with you today as well. And so with that, I will pass the floor over to you both. Thank you so much again for joining us today, and take it away.
Thank you, Candace. So yes, I'm Lorenzo. I'm the account director for Hawaii Tourism Canada. We are the representatives of the Hawaii Tourism Authority here in Canada. So anything that you need in Canada related to the Hawaiian Islands, I'd be happy to help you out with. And I wanted to tell you about the program that we've been working with for the past 2 years, which is called Mālama Hawaii. Mālama means to take care of, or to care for, or to give back. And Mālama Hawaii is a program that the Hawaii Tourism Authority designed to make aware people about their impact when they're visiting somewhere. Doesn't matter if it's Hawaii or anywhere they're visiting, even at home. And of course, this impact could be positive or negative, right? So this program is like to flip this impact into a positive impact. And it's filled with different volunteerism activities. So when you're visiting Hawaii, if you go to gohawaii.com/Mālama, you'll be able to see all the activities and the programs that you can promote to your clients to give back to Hawaii and have your visit that your visit has a meaning, and when they leave the islands, they leave them better than when they got there, right? And then also for the agents, which are the promoters, like the face-to-face with the travelers, we also have a website where you can find all the correct information on Hawaii. Fortunately, right now we've gotten a lot of misinformation, so you can be certain that the information that you find in this website is the right one. The website is agents.gohawaii.com. Please don't use the www before agents, because it doesn't work. Don't ask me why. It does. I know that it just doesn't. So agents.gohawaii.com, and there you will find all the marketing material, a lot of information for you to share with your clients, and also a destination specialist program which gives you like a great idea on how to promote Hawaii and how to and how it is like as a state. It is 6 modules long. It won't take you more than 3 hours if you do it all at once. You can do it module by module also. So and this program is sorry, it's sorry, the 2 modules, the two first modules are an overall in the state, and then the 4 last modules are island specific, so you can learn about what are the characteristics, the personalities, the differences between each one of the islands, so you can learn, or you can better orient or better fit each one of the islands to your different clients. And well, that's it for me. I want to introduce you to Hilani. As they say, Hilani is a Native Hawaiian, or Kanaka O'oli. You will correct me on my pronunciation, Hilani, please. She was born and raised in Hilo, Hawaii. That's on the island of Hawaii. And she graduated from the University of Hawaii at Manoa, where she received her BA on Oleo Hawaii, which is the Hawaiian language. A lifelong learner, Hilani has spent the last 25 years in both formal and informal education. She learned, she learned informal education through the collections of Bernice Pawahi Bishop Museum, where she worked for 12 years as the education operation managers, and traveled through Hawaii and the US, sharing the aloha of the Hawaiian people and culture. Hilani is currently the Kumu teacher and educator at Ka Waihona, or Ka Na'awa Public Charter School, teaching mālama aina, caring for the land. As I mentioned before, mālama, it's caring for. In her agriculture and aquaculture classes conducted in Hawaiian language. Hilani also serves as the lead cultural trainer for the Native Hawaiian Hospitality Association, NAHA, and as freelance cultural and language consultant. Hilani is the co-founder and content creator of Mahina Project, where people can engage daily with the Hawaiian lunar phases to find and build cultural, spiritual, emotional, and physical connections through the learning about the Mahina, which means moon. So correct me if I'm wrong on anything, Hilani. The mic is over to you, and thank you. Mahalo for being here.
Yes, aloha everyone. We're gonna start with an oli, a chant, and I'm gonna do it first before we start sharing our presentation. I just feel like we should do it this way. And I also want to make note that that Lorenzo, you did a pretty good job with your Olelo Hawaii. Those were not the easiest words, so mahalo for doing that. Ea mai na lama kue ho o kipa ke nana nei na opua o ka aina e. He loko mai ka ika manu o ka ona ke aho ka la e hiki mai ai. Ona ka e walu, ona kuahiwi, ona hao mako. E ola Hawaii, e ola Hawaii, e ola Hawaii. So the reason I chose this specific oli to do today is because each one of us is a lamaku, yeah, a torch. That's what it's called, a torch, a beacon of hospitality. Each one of you who are on this webinar, just we really depend on all of you to be that torch to represent Hawaii and invite those visitors that know how to interact and have a good relationship with our islands. In our oli, as I share our PowerPoint here, we can we can actually look specifically at the PowerPoint itself. And the third line, he loko mai ka ika manu o Kaiona, particularly the Oli, is talking about a goddess. Her name is Kaiona, and she lives on the tallest mountain peak on the Waianae mountain range of the island of Oahu. So this is the tallest peak on the island of Oahu, a place called Ka'ala. And Kaiona lives there, and she's a blind goddess, and she is named the goddess of hospitality because she sends out her great big Eva birds. And there are these big black birds with a red part that's right here on their neck, and these long tails, and sometimes their wingspans can be 9 feet across. And when you see these birds, it's very hard to ignore them, but usually they're flying really way up in the sky. And when you notice them, what it alerts you to is if there's any trouble, any trouble that might be coming, be it in a form of a storm or something. And what these Eva birds do is they guide you to safety. And so that's why Kaiona, being that blind goddess, can feel these kind of things throughout our islands. And so hospitality in Hawaii is not only, right, the greeting and the hosting of guests, but it's also the fact that we take this hosting, this ho'okipa, as we call it, so seriously that we make sure that you are safe, that you are safe in our islands and enjoy the best time when you are here. Now, this particular presentation is on a season that we just started in our islands, and it's a season of ku. And ku in Hawaiian, we can actually talk about it, means to stand up. It means to rise up. It also means to be alert. It is a name of a particular god, I guess you could say, or essence. And this god is named Ku. And so the reason we're doing this presentation is because we have ended one season and we started the season of Ku. And that season that just ended is called Makahiki. So understand the ending of Makahiki and beginning of the season of Ku, which begins in the spring and lasts to the summer in Hawaii. Now, we are just ending the mālama, or the month of Iki, which kind of marked the beginning of the Ku season. We are also in this presentation is going to be looking at how mālama, like Lorenzo had explained, is expressed through the season of Ku. We're going to be introduced to many of the kino lau. So kino lau in Hawaiian means body forms. You see, we look at everything around us in nature, and we look at its characteristics and how its relationship with not only nature itself, but with us as kanaka, as people. And so we're going to look at those forms of Ku as well. And then we're going to hear 2 mo'olelo, 2 stories to even have a greater understanding of Ku and how it works into this season. So, Ohe pau ka ike I ka halau ho'okahi, which means all knowledge is not taught in the same school. You know, this is something that I think is universal. Many indigenous people around the world understand that we have more in all of our minds, right? In all of our perspectives, that you may hear something from me, but then when you go and visit someone else, maybe on a different island in Hawaii, might hear the same story, but it's told in a different way. And so this is why we want to make sure that we start with that there are many different perspectives and we only learn from knowing those. Now, the picture that we see in the back of this saying, this olelo no eao, is actually a picture that is a representation, a kinolau of Ku. And Ku is represented by the niuhi. The niuhi is the man-eating sharks, I guess you could say. But the interesting thing about that it's labeled that, is that most sharks in our traditional mo'olelo stories, our sharks are actually told, and they keep it very, very close, that they don't eat humans, that they don't eat kanaka, that people are actually protected by the mano, by the shark. The Hawaiian word for shark is mano. And so ku is represented by the shark in the ocean. That's one of the main kinolau of ku. So I thought it was a really important thing to put the picture of the mano niuhi, this particular shark representing ku at the beginning of our presentation, because this shark will protect and guide us through our understanding of the season of ku. Now, a Kumu Lanakila Manguel, who is on the island of Hawaii, the island that I come from, he explains the ku season as when the days get long and the things start to grow tall and straight like the ulu tree, which we're gonna address in. We're gonna actually learn a mo'olelo about it in just a little bit. And why I chose this quote from Kumu Lanakila is because that's what starts to happen, right? That one of the easiest observations that we know that we are changing from the season of Lono, which is Makahiki that just ended, into the season of Ku, is the day starts to get long and things start to get a little bit more awake, is what I like to say. They start to stand straight, just like the word Ku means, stand straight and tall. And Ku is also represented by the sunrise, right? Because that's when the sun is rising in the day. And so this picture of the sunrise as Haleakala, on the island of Maui, is a beautiful representation of Ku and how this season extends the day, the daylight, of time. Now, it is also a season of strategy, strength, and it's considered the dry season. Now, Makahiki, which just ended, is the opposite. It's the wet season, and that is the season of Lono. So Lono is represented by a different type of representation than we see here on our screen. What we see here is actually 3 images of the god Ku. And what happens is during Makahiki, the Lono image comes out, and this particular picture is taken at the Bishop Museum. And the Bishop Museum is located on the island of Oahu. And so the Lono image gets put to rest when the season of Ku starts. And what they do is they dress the ki'i, the image of Ku. Now, this particular picture is actually of the 3 remaining Ku images that we have in the world. And about 5-6 years ago, the Bishop Museum actually invited the other 2 Ku images to come home to Hawaii and spend time with the 3rd Ku image that is always at the Bishop Museum. So the one on the left, I believe that is the one that is at the Bishop Museum. The one in the middle, I believe, is at the Peabody Essex Museum in Salem, Massachusetts. And the one on the right is at the British Museum in Europe. And so when Ku season starts, the Ku images are dressed. They're dressed in the malo, the loincloth made out of kapa, the Hawaiian bark cloth that you see here. And the image is upright and very awake, is what I like to say. And so this season is where Ku guides us in strategy. There are politics that happen during this time. The Ku image also guides us in strength, having strength, because during this season, this dry season, this is the time we are doing everything. There is war if needed, happens during the season. Voyaging, so if you have long voyages or even between the islands or between the islands in the Pacific, all of that happens during this Ku season. You have farming practices because we start in the spring. And so it's starting from sowing the seeds or planting the huli, the pula pula, all of these things that regenerate and grow. to create the food and the crops and the all of those things starts in the spring, and we really go for it during this season to grow food. Fishing is really plentiful. You have the seasons of the different fish coming into the waters, be it offshore or inshore fishing, that happens. And then all things necessary for the civilization to thrive really takes what I like to call kind of a notch up in production. Productivity is very high in the cool season because it is the season that is dry. And so nature works with us to get everything done because we need to have all of those things done in cool so that when Makahiki rolls around in October and end of October, early November, we have things that are already being harvested and prepared so that during the season of Lono, Makahiki, we can eat, we can rest, we don't have to do all the things that we were doing in Ku. It's a very important time to be highly productive, and it will set the pace, it will set the pace for the next season. Now, we're going to now look at one of the mo'olelo of Ku, because this goes right in line with the opening of the season of Ku. There are many ceremonies that transition us from one season to the next. And we have to understand, right, that in order to celebrate or start the season of Ku, we honor all the body forms, all the forms of this image and this essence. And so, I ulu no kalala ike kumu, the branches grow because of the trunk. Ulu is what you see here. It's actually the breadfruit tree, and it is a form of Ku. And so the mo'olelo goes, right? The mo'olelo goes like this. So Ku, in his this time period in his life, he chose to be like one of us. Living among the people, he chose to be a mahi'ai, a farmer, and he started a family. And so he was so happy. Years were going by, everything was plentiful and abundant, until one season, there was a great big storm. And in this storm, what it did was there was hardly any food. Many of the crops and the trees were damaged. The ocean was not producing enough food for everyone. They decided, right? They decided that, oh gosh, we needed to do something. So Ku, in this form of a mahi'ai as a farmer, understood that he could bring relief and food to his people. And so he gathered his family around and he looked at his partner, Hina, and Hina understood. So Ku explained to his family that he had the power, the mana, to leave, and in his place, there would be food that would fulfill the whole community. Now, his family was not happy about this, but they were so hungry and they understood, right? They understood that Ku, their provider, right? Their father, they believed that he could do this. And so what Ku did was they prepared, his family and him prepared a spot in the ground right outside of their hale, right outside of their house. And he planted himself headfirst into this earth. And as he disappeared into the earth, a small sprout started to appear. And as the sprout grew, it became this beautiful breadfruit tree, this ulu tree. So ulu in Hawaiian also means to grow. So just like that word, this tree grew to this great big size. And then the fruit started to appear, these round fruit. And so Hina, Ku's partner, and their children understood that they needed to prepare the ulu and share it so people could eat. Now, it was really fascinating because as they started to feed people, the roots of the tree started to create these little trees. And Hina understood, oh, our family is going to dig up these small trees and we are going to gift it to the community. so that everybody can have food. Now, iulu no kalala ike kumo, right? The branches grow because of the trunk, because when Ku planted himself into the ground, the trunk of the tree was like the trunk of his body. His arms were like the limbs of the tree, and his hands became like the leaves that we see right in front of us. And so the abundance, right, that Ku was able to sacrifice himself, and in his place was a tree that provided food and abundance for everyone around. So that is what the season of Ku is about. It's about growing. It's about ulu, yeah? Ulu, like I said in Hawaiian, is about growing. It's about growing abundance. It's about productivity. It's about making sure that you understand your place in the relationship of society, the relationship of civilization, so that whatever you bring to the table, just like Ku did, will not only feed the people, but will also maintain that relationship and that harmony that we see. And so that is an awesome mo'olelo about Ku that keeps giving, yeah? His sacrifice of his body keeps giving. And so now this next one is the pueo. Now it's the short-eared owl, which is actually a native endemic species. And it is also another form of the god Ku, and about this season of Ku. There are actually many valleys in Hawaii where at certain times of the day, you'll see flocks of pueo. Well, they used to see. Nowadays, it's not as easy to see these flocks of pueo, these flocks of owls that come together. Maybe you'll see one or two here and there. Because of modern, construction, the birds have been affected in a little bit way. But this pueo, this Hawaiian short-eared owl, is again a manifestation of Ku. Malu ke kula a ohe ke'u pueo. The plain is quiet, not even the hoot of an owl is heard. Because during the season of Ku, there are times when silence was something that was demanded by the people. And so it's a very sacred time in ceremony, in certain places, certain things, and not much, even though there's a lot of productivity, there's not much noise, right, that is happening. So whenever I get to see a pueo flying over, and usually it's because something is trying to tell us something. Yeah. So if you see a pueo when you're here in Hawaii, deem yourself lucky that Ku went and visited. Now, another manu, another bird that is also considered Ku is the io, which is the Hawaiian hawk. And you might have heard this word before, io. It is part of a longer word called Iolani, like the Iolani Palace. And the io is a definite representation of not only the god Ku, but also of chiefs. So he io ao, ohe lala kau ole. I can go anywhere I please. I am a chief. Yeah. When you see, if you're able to ever go to Hawaii Island. So Hawaii Island, there is actually a population of the Hawaiian hawk that they've been working very hard to bring back. And so the eel, when you see it, it has a beautiful call, and it holds itself just like how our royalty would have before our chiefs. Yeah. Okay, and then the next manifestation. Now there are actually many, many, many manifestations of Ku, but the next manifestation I want to talk about, the next kinolau, is called the ilio, the dog, the Polynesian species. Now this dog was thought to be very short-legged and bow-legged, and it was either white or brown spotted and white. And during the time of Ku, like I said before, that was the only time that you were allowed to actually have warfare. But at the same time, the season of Ku is very, very safe. So ua pa'a ka ilio ika ohau, the dog is tied by the neck, all is safe. Yeah, this ilio, this representation of ku, actually shows us that protection and peace is very favorable. You see, in traditional times, the ilio, the dog, was actually food, but it was also a protector of children. So many times, especially high-ranking children, they had a dog. And one, if we look in our history, is the last prince, who was Prince Albert, the child of Kamehameha IV and Queen Emma, had a little white dog with him. And so what they would do is the dog would, like I said, protect, whoever, especially children. They would do that, just like ku does. All right, now ku is season is also represented by a eel. Now the eel is, in this case, his name is Kuna. And Kuna is an eel that lives in Wailuku River on the island of Hawaii in a place called Hilo, where I'm from. And Wailuku River is actually, we can't see it in my picture, but Wailuku River is actually the joining of two very special mountains on the island of Hawaii. And that is Mauna Loa and Mauna Kea. And so when the waters join, Wailuku River is a very special place. So Kuna lives there, and he falls in love with this kapa maker named Hina. And Hina lives in this cave under the Rainbow Falls, or Waianuenue, in Hilo. And she loves to just make her kapa and do everything. And Kuna falls deeply, madly in love with her. So much so that he bothers her so much that Hina gets very, very angry one day. And she calls out to her son, Maui. And so Maui, being the Superman that he is, he takes 2 steps from the island of Maui, gets to Wailuku River on the bottom. And he does these steps, of course, in a canoe. And so at the bottom of Wailuku River, there's actually a pohaku, a rock, a long flat rock that is called the Va'a o Maui, Kava'a o Maui, the canoe of Maui. And so with 2 strokes of his paddle, he's there at Wailuku River, and he's now running up to see what's wrong with his grandmother, or his mother. And so Hina is there under the waterfalls of Waianuenue, of Rainbow Falls. And Hina explains to Maui that there's this eel that has been frightening her because it doesn't want to leave her alone. And so Maui goes looking for this eel, and he finds this eel in a place called Pe'epe'e Falls, or otherwise known as boiling pots. And it's called boiling pots. It's called Pe'epe'e because it goes in and out of things. But it's called boiling pots because when the river is very full and very raging, like we call it, then it looks like the pots are boiling. Well, what happens is Maui is trying to hit this eel as the eel comes up out of the water, but he's just unsuccessful. So what he does is he turns to his auntie Pele. And I don't know if you've heard Pele before, but Pele is the goddess of Kilauea volcano and eruptions and lava. And so Maui turns to Pele and asks her for help. And when he asks her for help, she gives him these really hot stones. And what he does is he throws it into this Pe'epe'e Falls area that looks like boiling pots. And the heat of the rocks just start to make the waters boil. And as the waters boil, Kuna cannot stand staying within the water and starts popping out. Just like when you go to a arcade and you have that whack-a-mole where it pops out and you whack it. And so what Maui does is he actually gets ready and he cuts off the head of the eel when the eel comes up. So Kuna's head is chopped off by Maui. And so when it rolls on the side of the embankment next to Wailuku River, they see this strange tree that comes from the head of the eel. It has a very long trunk, and then at the top there is just a few leaves, and then the fruit, the neo fruit forms there as well. So it takes 9 months for a coconut tree to grow. This took very, very short. And then when you opened up the coconut and you drank the water and you looked at the shell of the coconut, it looks like the head of Kuna, the eel. And so this mo'olelo is, oh, and I apologize. Here is Maui. Here is Maui. I got so into the talking that I didn't show you my paintings. I'm really thankful that this young Hawaiian kanaka woman who is actually attending Stanford is a painter on the side. And during this past summer, she was able to paint the story of Kuna and Maui. And so you can see here, Maui has a club and is going to bash the head of the eel. And so again, when the eel head, right, grew into what we call a coconut tree, and then you open up the coconut itself, you will see the face of the eel. Yeah, so amazing, right? That whole thing. So here is a picture of Kapuaiwa, Kapuaiwa Coconut Grove. Now, one of the things we understood is that we are a little bit too far from other islands in the Pacific, meaning Hawaii is a little bit too far from other islands. And so the coconut comes to us not necessarily only on the canoes of people that came and settled here in Hawaii, but it also may have come on the water, which some people can see, but most times the coconut cannot survive to get to Hawaii for that long in the salt water. But this coconut grove is considered very, very special. It actually is named after Kamehameha V, our last ruler, the brother of Alexander Liholiho. And so it was during his time when the apple died. And, you know, in between these coconut trees, you actually have these beautiful alkaline ponds. And so today it's really hard to get into this area on Molokai. But when you do get to see it, it's so majestic with these coconut trees, yeah. So nonetheless, the coconut tree is a body form of ku, and partly too because of the way it grows. Yeah, it grows very strong and very straight, yeah. And so why is it important to know about these two seasons, about Makahiki season, that was the wet season, and about ku season, which is very active? It helps us understand what's happening in our natural cycles with our relationship to Hawaii. The mo'olelo helps inform us of different perspectives of Maui and not Maui, of ku. And then this education will also help with the mālama, right? How do we take care of this kind of information? Well, what we can do is share it out, because the more we share information, the better we not only protect, but also share Hawaii with ho'ihi, respect, and kuleana, yeah. And so Mālama Ku'uhome, which was addressed by Lorenzo, is about, this is considered part of your Mālama, right? How do we Mālama a place as special as Hawaii? Well, attending webinars, doing the visits and the educational parts of the visit so you can learn more about our islands and how best, right? How best to invite and host people into our islands. And so with that, the season of ku goes from about February all the way to end of October, early November. This year, though, the weather patterns were very unique, and we really didn't start ku season until about 3 weeks ago. It was a little bit late. And now that we are in the ku season, though, we understand what is expected of us as part of our society, and it also helps us navigate what needs to be done, right, during this ku season to prepare for Makahiki. And then when you're in Makahiki, what do you do to prepare to go into ku as well? Yeah. So with that, I want to say mahalo nui loa, and I hope that there are some questions because I would love to elaborate more on this season of Ku. Yeah. Lorenzo, do you have a question?
No. I love the webinar. Mahalo for sharing with us. You know that I'm a big passionate lover of your cosmology and your legend. So yeah, for me it's amazing. I'm actually have been to the falls, the Rainbow Falls, and they're beautiful. And yeah, no. I mean, and that's also somewhere that you can visit. It's not only a part of a legend and that you can visit and then say, oh yeah, this is what Hilani was talking about.
Yeah, and I forgive me, I forgot to say that on the island of Kauai, the National Tropical Botanical Gardens there, there are 2 sites, or 3 sites actually on Kauai, and they have the Breadfruit Institute, the Ulu Institute. And so the image that I used is directly from NTBG, and that's also another great place to learn more about Ku, because through the ulu, through the breadfruit.
Ki'ilani, thank you so much for that beautiful presentation. It was a stunning presentation. I learned so much myself, and it just makes me want to learn even more. I do have a question from a travel agent here. Her name is Brianne Kelly, and she says, your stories are beautiful. I'd love to know where I can read more about them, about Ku. Are there festivals that happen to celebrate it? What are the customs to start the season?
Well, so this season, there's so many festivals, right? So that's one of the great things about this season is that because of the drier, and usually it's spring and summer, all the festivals will have some type of connection back to the season of Ku. And they do have opportunities, and you can go through the resources, right, Lorenzo? You can go through the resources to see which festivals and what's happening on each of the islands. Now, one that's coming up right away is actually the Kamehameha Day celebrations. And that's in June, on the weekend of June 10th and June 11th. June 11th, now, one of the things about King Kamehameha, which relates right back to Ku, is he was given Ku Kailimoku, which is a war god of his, which is a representation of Ku. And so Kamehameha, on his birthday, June 11th, it's a great time to learn more about the accolades, I guess you could say, or the descriptions of Kamehameha is very much related to the descriptions of what we see Ku as a god too. So yeah, that's one coming right up. That will help.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. I have a comment from Sharon Underhill. She says, Hi'ilani, what a wonderful presentation. Mahalo, mahalo. I actually had a question as well, just thinking again, going on more about with Brianne's question. I'm wondering for Canadian travel agents, what are some of the sites that you would recommend visiting Canadian travelers visit when they go to learn more about some of the history of Ku? You mentioned Bishop Museum as one where the statue is. I was wondering if there was anywhere else that comes to mind that you would suggest.
Yes, so on Hawaii Island, there is Pu'ukohola. Pu'ukohola is a heiau, a sacred site that Kamehameha built. So that's a great place to go. They actually have a festival in August where they do demonstrations of, it's not like they're kind of showing you what a battle might look like, but it's actually a ceremonial battle that happens. And it's usually, I believe, either the first weekend in August, but if you go to the Pu'ukohola website, right, the heiau site, which is actually it's actually considered a national park, or a park, right, a state park, maybe at least. But they will tell you when that is. So that's a good one. Also on that side of the island, if you just go outside of that time, going to Pu'uhonua o Honaunau, yeah, down in Honaunau, which is the city of refuge.
Okay.
They have a ki'i of Ku there, as well as other images, and they have great information also that relates as well. Bishop Museum, of course, is also an awesome. There's also a museum on Maui, right at the bottom of Iao Valley. It was called, it's at the Bailey House now, but it's, I believe, the Maui Historical Society.
Okay.
So there's many on each island. On Kauai, at the museum there, they can give you recommendations, because Kaumuali'i, right? So like ku is really related to a lot of chiefs, right? Because it's a very, that essence of ku is what the chiefs and the chiefesses would harness, right? When during this season, because they really had to lead, right? You had to lead people, as well as if you were gonna go to war, you need
Bless you.
Oh, and then voyaging, of course, too. So going on long voyages, you know, you have to have those essences of like, I can do it, right? I can move forward. I can do that. And that's the season of cool.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. So many places to visit. It's just such a rich destination culturally and in many other ways. Thank you, Hi'ilani. Just travel agents, just so you know, we've also got many links that have been shared in the chat, which will help you to navigate some of the places that Hi'ilani just mentioned, and locations that are having ceremonies and information and history to do with ku. I have one more question from Janice Woods. This one's for Lorenzo, and but she says first, Hi'ilani, that the presentation was so lovely. And then as a travel agent, she would like a contact for Lorenzo in the event that she as a travel agent needs to reach out. And I can say just to all the travel agents on this call, we will be sending out a follow-up email connecting you with Lorenzo, and also connecting the winner of the grand prize for this webinar, which is the $250 gift card to giftcards.com. So everyone will be connected that way. And if there is any other materials that you are either interested in or that Lorenzo would like to share with you, we can put that all in the email as well. So that will all be sent out to you within the next 24 hours. It says that the chat has been disabled. Can we access these links elsewhere? Yeah, I will make sure that we get all these links put into the email as well, so that you can access those. So Lorenzo, are you able to see these links right now? We'll get in contact and we'll make sure that they're all on the email to you, so you have everything all in one place.
I can't see
that
them.
makes it easy. Going forward, we can do that.
Yeah, I can't see the links right now, but yeah, certainly on the follow-up email, we can include them, and also add the links that I mentioned about the promotional tools and the website for dedicated for agents, the mālama program website, and all the links that we've talked about right now. Also the NAHA website, because they have a lot of cultural webinars and workshops, etc. So not only about ku, there is a ton of things to talk about culturally, and they have great programs, certainly.
Yeah, absolutely. We will make sure that you get all that information. Definitely we'll take care of everyone on this webinar as well. This will be posted in our Facebook group. This will also be posted in our YouTube channel, so you'll have access to everything there. Again, if you'd like to rewatch, or please share this webinar with some of your travel agent friends, we will have it all available for you that way. And again, expect that email connecting you with Lorenzo and all the information that we shared here. So I would like to say thanks again on behalf of Travel Week to Hi'ilani and to Lorenzo and to Hawaii Tourism Canada. And I am so grateful that you could put this on today for our travel agent community. And last but certainly not least, thank you so much to all the travel agents who joined today. We are really grateful to have you on here and to be able to have the opportunity to share this information with you. As you know, we're so dedicated to that. So thank you again for being here, everyone. And stay tuned for more to come from us and more Travel Week webinars in the future. Thank you, everyone.
Mahalo, everyone, and aloha.
Mahalo, aloha.